This is Victoria Christensen with Agile Dragon Group. Today I'm going to show you how to take advantage of Dragon Pack Audit, the profile comparison, in 3 kind of very easy steps, right? So we're going to use SASTT profiles. We're going to use SASO, creating a master user, and then running the orchestration inside of Audit to update those values so that we can compare those together. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure that we have profiles created in SASTT. So I'm going to, in SASTT, right, you've got some profiles created. I created a new one called Audit, and I've also used the one for the CSRs as well. So now that we have identified profiles, right now I'm going to go to our operator set. We're going to go to SASO, and we're going to do the same thing. So in order for this to work, we have to have users, an operator created. It does not require it can be a disabled account, and it doesn't need to even have a IFS ID tied to it. We're basically creating a template, right? So, but the important part is it has to start with the word master. So I've created 2 in here. So I'm going to, in our name here, I'm going to type in the word master, and you're going to see I have 2 operators that are created, right? They both say master, and then the top one is audit user, and then the second one is your master CSR profile user. So these are basically your templates. So these are what you are comparing your users to. So now that I have these created, right, now I can apply the same security or the same profile to those users, right? So if I want to search for a particular, for the users within that same profile, right, I can do this when I click on search. So I have 3 individuals, right, 3 profiles that are created. I have Bill, and master profile user. So we have 3 users that have the same profile. So now in Dragon Pack Audit, reset. We can compare our profile, those master users templates, right, to the users that have the same profile. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to select my CSR profile, right, and I'm going to click apply. So let's look at the security, our filters that are applied on the top. We have our Kono. You can select multiple Konos, right? This is that master profile user that we've selected, right? This is a date range. So if I want to look back in time where maybe the functional security was different than as of the last, as of today, right? We can go back in time to change those dates and look maybe what it was at the first of the month or something, right? And then we have an all records. So all records, this is either all records, similarities, or differences. And I'll show you how those work. And then we have this master record displayed. Because Visualizer has a limitation of how many rows can be shown in a report, we've put a prompt on the dashboard so that users can control how many records they're allowed to see. Visualizer reports are limited to 50,000 rows on the display on your report, but if you schedule reports, that limitation is not required. But this just allows everybody to kind of manage and see how many records are shown without that ugly pink line that shows up on the bottom when it exceeds that 50,000 rows. So what we're going to do, right, I've selected my profile, right, and I'm going to go and look at my users. So these are the users that share the same profile. So if I want to only select one of them, right, we'll just select the top one here and say apply. These are all records that are the same for our master profile and for Bill. So if I change this from all records to differences, right, this filters then only this security that is different for a particular function. So for OERAO, right, our master profile has 5, but Bill's user security, Bill's user security is 5, right? Orange, and then blue, with its our master user, right, has a level of 2. So we can very easily identify that user security that is the same or different, right? Same thing for similarity. So we change this to similar. These are where both the user and the master user have the same function or the same functional security for that function that is listed. So that's how to use Audit to compare user profiles.